Guten Tag, my comrades, and welcome back to West of Loathing, Part 8, another turn-based Tuesday. Woo! So I did beat the main game. Last stream, I picked the ending I didn't want to pick. I picked, like, the really boring one. I did beat the main game, so now it is time to do the DLCs. I'm probably not going to, because even, like, but that last request from, what is it called? Breadwood? Yeah, Breadwood. To clear all the military cemetery out. Like, I'm only at, like, 212 or something like that. And I've gone through, like, at least, like, I would say around 30 shovels. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that, but I am gonna do the DLC. And then I'll also relook at the ending, because I think it adds to the ending. So let's go. Heck yeah. You hop in the ghostly carriage, which seems to support your and Alice's weight well enough. Invisible drivers, yah! The crack of invisible whip and invisible horses snorts. The carriage starts moving, and soon you're out of sight of dirt water. It's like the intro to the main game, but different. Reckoning in gun manner. A thick gray fog envelops the carriage, and you lose all sense of time and space. Eventually, the fog clears and the carriage parks near a very large and ornate mansion. A disemboweled voice, all out for gun manor, last stop, calls out. Wow, have you ever seen a house this big? Nope. Never. I've heard Gun Manor was a real sight to behold, though. It sure is. Must have cost a fortune. Reckon Miss Gunn has a fortune to spare, too. What did you do with that kind of money? Well, I'd never go thirsty, that's for certain. Heh. And first thing of business. Excuse me, do you work here? Who, me? No. Nuts. I can't find any employees in the gift shop, either. I haven't even started the job yet, and it's already a pain in my neck. What's wrong? I can't get inside, I can't get inside. Miss Gunn hired me to come here to deal with a bunch of spooks that are haunting the place. I can't do it if I can't even get in the front door, though. Who's Miss Gunn? You've never heard of Terry Gunn? Should I have? Well, I think so. She's a pretty famous inventor. Got her best-known invention hanging right on your belt. She invented belt buckles? Wow. Guns. She invented guns. Oh. Spooks like ghosts? Exactly. Like that. Yep. 13 of them, according to my instruments. Florence Cunningham. Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Services. That's me. Interesting. What do you annihilate with them with? Science. I was gonna guess that weird kind of rifle-like contraption you're carrying. Yeah, it shoots science. What's wrong with the front door? The front door, well, it's, locked? No, not locked, no. So what's the problem? Okay, see, I'm a ghost hunter. I ain't a spider hunter. I don't hunt spiders at all. And there's a huge, gross, hairy, fang-drooling spider in the foyer. So until I either find another way in, or find someone to take care of that spider hunting side of the biz, I'm staying right friggin' out here, okay? I see you feel pretty strongly about this. I do. What if I can help you out? Hey, that'd be swell. You know, you look responsibly tough and or wily. why don't we team up? I handle the ghosts. You can handle the things that aren't ghosts. Let's go. Roger, copy. Actually, it's been noted. Actually. Set it backwards. You try to handle the front door. It doesn't seem to be locked, with some kind of force holding it shut. Yeah, some ghost playing tricks on you because they know you ain't packing science. Stand back, I got this. Florence unlimbers her rifle and fires a short burst of swirling light into the doorknob. You hear a eek sound from the inside. The door swings open. Huh, works every time. Freaking the fuck out. What's the skinny compadre? There it is! Kill it! Kill it! Kill it! Oh dang. Just try to be a bit cool about it, will you? Kill it! Doesn't seem that scary. Terminated. Dang it, overkill. See, that wasn't so bad. Easy for you to say. She shudders again. Eyes follow me around. Use intercom. The intercom is making an annoying humming and crackling noise. Press the button to talk. Hello? Hell's... Ah, a ghost just said hell at me. Spooky. I'm pretty sure it's not a ghost. The intercom's just busted. Try again. Hello? Who's... Miss Gunn? No, I'm... Gus... Oh man, would have been a pretty good joke if the intercom wasn't broken. Would it? Miss Gunn, did you know your intercom is broken? You'll have to break up my intercom's bro. Are we just gonna do this old, I don't know, fake deal gags all day? What do you mean old? It's 1895. That deal is at its peak. I probably butchered that pronunciation. It's a black beat. Teresa Terry Gunn, built 1840. Built stately, architectural, unusual manor house, late 70s. Completed in 1877, using the proceeds from her famous invention, the gun. After her retirement in 1891, she graciously opened many of the rooms to the public as a museum and a historical center. Nice. Brr. It's cold as a federal grant administrator's heart in here. I wonder what's causing that. You don't think you know? All that ice? Huh. You got it backwards. The ice couldn't be here if it wasn't cold to begin with. That's science. Maybe the house heat got shut off somehow. We better see the furnace or boiler or something. Probably be in the basement. Let's have a look around. Anything new? Servers. That's it. We'll close it up. Don't call me a rat. Disbarred the door. It's freaking out. There's a spider on the other side, probably. Quite a cellar they got here. You mean in terms of size or quality? Size. Not exactly conversant on nuisance of cellar architecture. A Pt.8 lock? Lucky for us, I have a key for every model they ever made. Florence fumbles a giant key ring out of her pocket and finds the one that unlocks the door for you. Get on in. Oh hey, a lab! Check it out. Florence starts excitedly poking around the workbenches and shelves. You must have been doing some really good science down here. I don't even recognize half this stuff. Okay, well don't accidentally blow us up or anything. Psst, relax. I have an advantage degree in tinkering and fiddling. Business. Periodic table. Huh. This is a device for reducing the loudness of gunfire. A silenter, if you will. Bench covered gunsmith school and supplies left from. You don't really know much about gunsmithing. You just kind of randomly cram pieces together, and you have something gun-shaped. The worst gun ever. Oh yeah, there's just a button to go back to the coach since there's no map for this place. Yeah, one damage. Science, you do it. Yeah, this is how you level up on Florence. What's cracking, Florence? Raise an eyebrow at you and glance over the blue instrument. Florence, my entrance. Oh yeah, she also tells you how many ghosts are. Found some scientific stuff you might be interested in. Oh, I love sciencey junk. Thanks. Okay. I didn't even go back in there. Don't mind me. So only a little stupid paint. Big can of paint with a blush setting on top of it. Paint something on the wall. Yeah, it's a common theme with this DLC. Double silk pantaloons. It's not better than mine, is it? Cold resistance? Yeah, I don't need cold resistance. Spiders. Let's fuck some spiders up. Alright, now I'm gonna take all these spider fights seriously, because if I remember correctly, they do a lot of damage. Like, they don't have much health, but they do a lot of damage. Bigger spider. The good news is that there's only one spider. The bad news is it's huge. Can't hide the spider size. Well, now there's not more than one spider, okay? Epic. Yeah, I think I'm a higher level than my character when I played through off stream. Spider pie. Epic. What does that do? I think my stomach's full, but I want to look at it. Sugar resistance for the rest of the day. Yeah, I guess that would do that, wouldn't it? Showing up it. Jumbo Fort Shrimp. Shrimp Fort, that one. Oh, nice. No, I think I'll keep my mushroom covered bone. I don't really use melee attacks anyway. This leads to the head mage, I believe. So I'm gonna... You holler to Florence and she comes over to you. Whoa, Nelly, hold on a second. That's a ghost! Those things are dangerous. I was best to see these here. What? You're a ghost hunter. You're specifically here to hunt... You're specifically to hunt ghosts. No. That's just ghosts. This is a ghost. A greater haunt. Or originating from spectral transmissions. Totally different from ghosts. Except for the name, you mean. Anyway, these things can be pretty tough. Heck, I knew we should have brought the bismuth bomb. A what bomb? Bismuth. It's more silvery metal. It screws the spectral energy. The way iron does with magnetic energy. So where do we get a bismuth bomb? Bismuth. Normally I just make them myself in my lab. Well, so much for that idea then. Well, that workbench we found earlier might have the stuff I'd need. Yeah, I think to get the best ending to this DLC, you deal with everything the alternate way of fighting. Like basically how had the option to capture all the gains for dirt water. Basically, you want to find an alternate route to dealing with any enemies, with like I think the exception of the spiders. This work this workbench is littered with scrap metal and little canisters labeled bismuth. Do not eat. Hey Florence, can you make a biscuit bomb out of this stuff? Bismuth. Come on, man. It says right on the container. Fine, fine. Can you make it though? Hell yeah, I can. Stand back and watch the master work. Stand back. Florence goes to town with a hammer and pliers, comes back with a metal spear. It's grinning his skull painted on a big red button on the side. Well, that's properly intimidating at least. And it ain't just a pretty face. Ooh. Alright. Here, go for it. Better cover your ears and eyes, and well, just cover your entire head. Very epic. Push. Pusher. Ouchie out. Yeah, you can see why I need to take the spider seriously. Epic. Just in case, we'll add security. God, this screech is pretty loud. Boys. Oh, it is mannequin. Yeah, hopefully they don't kill me. Okay. Good. If they all decide to attack me, then I would have been fucking donezo. But they didn't, so they can die now. Epic. Yeah, I don't need to fight them anymore. Someone's been cocooned by the spiders. Horrifying. Hey, you okay in there? What? What? I can't understand you. Hang on, I'll poke you a mouth hole. There. You were saying? Hi, hello, salutations. Hey, you okay? I've certainly been better. What happened? I was practicing my greetings. I'm a museum greeter. Is it something that requires a lot of practice? Practice makes perfect, right? And there's an old mannequin down here that's pretty good for practicing on. We've met. Anyway, a bunch of spiders grabbed me from behind. It was quite a surprise. I would imagine so. I should have probably got back to work. It would be right allowed visitors to go ungreeted. Can you let me out of this cocoon? Sure. Phew, thanks. You can get out through the coal chute down the hall. Great. I'll stop by the entrance later to give you official museum greeting. Put a little boiling water in the dirt for me. Hot mud. I mean, the homies love hot mud. I believe I got most of what I need down here for the time being. I need to come back for some things, but not right now. Turning on the boiler solved our ice problem. My scientific hypothesis has been proven correct. But we don't directly have evidence of connecting the ice to the... Don't you try to pull a post-hoc argopropter hawk on me. I'll shoot you with my science rifle. In that case, I totally agree with you. Let's hunt some ghosts. Heck yeah. Getcha. Ghosty goo. The ghost here mumbling and muttering and yammering on something about eggs. Interpreted disjointed ravings. Hang on a sec. You tried to poach an egg by shooting it? You fur dang gum. Yes, that's what I did. Heck, of course. I did. That's how you're supposed to poach an egg. Pappy didn't raise no fool, but dang gun flesh slinger egg roller out of what I think a bullet ricocheted off the bottom of the cook pot and got me right between the peepers. Or darn game. I might have butchered some of that mumbo jumbo. That's not how you poach an egg. What are you talking about? Have you ever heard like that? Of course 'tis. No, it isn't. Dang gum boy, me and my pappy and his pappy been poachers all our lives. I know more about poaching than you ever will. Okay, but that's not the same kind of poaching. That's really dark. What's all this darn sass much talking, boy? Poaching's poaching. I'm gonna prove you so wrong when I figure out how. Yeah. Wait. I think my audio just fucked up. Let me fix that real quick. Oh no, it didn't. There's just no music in here, I think. Hi. Hey, hi, excuse me. You seem to be trapped in a block of ice. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, actually. Can you get me out of here somehow? Besides the whole frostbite thing, I'm supposed to be running an elevator, and there aren't any proper stairs in this crazy place, so it's kind of important. Let me think. I can't think of anything. Well, no hurry. I think I could still feel a couple of my toes, and I don't actually need those to work the elevator. I guess, take your time. I think there's a proper way to get it out, but I have lava beam. Could get you out with magic. Do you mean like sort of magic used to blow up monsters? Because it doesn't sound safe to me. Relax, I'm an expert. I've got at least rank 3. I don't know what that means, but is that a lot? Showing a huge mystical lava beam managed to get the right range of melting ice quickly without burning the woman trapped inside. Phew, you had me worried for a sec, but thanks. Better get back to my elevator. If you ever want to go up or down with a limited range, come find me and I'll hook you up. Or down. Actually, is there items in here? Yeah, there's just some music in here. I thought the audio had fucked up. A big rack of expensive looking plates. Look more really cool. Boo. Dessert. Okay, it's not entirely deserted. It's only a dessert of desserts. Just desserts. Yeah, a small blowtorch. Yeah, I think that's what you're supposed to use normally to get her up. Ghost is cramming his face with invisible food. Maybe he's the ghost of an emperor. Greatest manners. Hey, buddy. Hey. Huh? Come on, man. At least use a napkin or stick your pinkies out or something. Sorry about that. I'm just so hungry. What's going on here? This waiter doesn't know how to make ghost food. So he's just giving me imaginary food and hoping I won't know the difference. I feel kind of bad about dragging him into this mess, so I've been pretending to eat its human. I'm starving. You need some actual ghost food? Maybe I can help out. Oh God, yes please. Specifically, I want a bowl of chili. A bowl of chili without a gun in it. Okay, what? That's what I'm craving. I guess it's probably because how I died. How did you die? Well, I was eating some chili and it had a gun in it. Did you choke? What? No. I went off and shot me to death. Why did... Look, all I know is I need to eat a bowl of gunless chili in order to satisfy my hunger and pass on to the afterlife. Okay, well, I'll see what I can do. Alright, I think that's all the ghosts on the first floor that we've conversed with, and go up. Hey, thanks again for helping me back there in the freezer. This is the elevator. Unfortunately, all we can do at this point is go to the second floor. Why just the second floor? The button to the third floor is missing. I'll bet anything the old housekeeper took it and hid it some hilarious place. She loved wordplay. That's why they fired her. And all this, that and all the stealing important things and hiding them. Second floor, please. I guess I can just go left or right. The book is a terrible thing not to read. So sit. Whew. This ghostly librarian is glaring at you, as if daring you to make a noise. Excuse me, but shh. Oh, sorry, I was just shh. Okay, Jesus, this is good. I suppose we'll have to do. Now, what's your question? No move. Well, I was wondering how you died. I was wondering how you died. If it's not too personal question. I was caught in the crossfire of a library shootout. Wow, what happened? But a pair of ruffians got a heated argument over comparing Mertz to Anton Chekhov versus Henrik Eisben. And when they started shooting, I attempted to step in to stop them. I simply won't abide gunfire in my library. It's far too loud. That's your only objection, the noise? That's quite sufficient. I won't tolerate noise to any strike. It's certainly not gunfire. Eisman versus Chekhov? Huh? What's the point of their contest? I don't recall the particulars. I just remember a Chekhov fan shouting, "Remember that gun I showed you in Act 1? Before opening fire, the noise was dreadful. I'll see what I can do." Yeah. Oh my God. What's going on? You okay under there? Shh. No talking back there. Sorry. You guys still here, trapped in the book. Take a close look. Turns out, it's a book about geology. It's bound in stone. It appears each chapter devoted to a different type of stone. It is printed on slabs of stone in question. This isn't going to be easy to move. It's only 45 muscle. Few thanks. I thought I'd never get out from under there. At least I know about all the particular types of granite described on that one page. How'd you get trapped in the first place? Well, I work at the info desk at the visitor center, so on my breaks, I research different kinds of info. You know, just in case anyone asks. I guess you never know when someone might ask about rocks. Exactly. Man, I'm late getting back. Thanks again. Feel free to stop by my counter if you have any questions. Sure thing. now you'll know about Scheist and, I think that's what it's called. And some good old cleavage. Boom. There. A bunch of T's and a bunch of different typefaces. Maybe. Same typeface. This is one more avant-garde, I guess. These are the 3 kinds of tattoos that have been invented so far. Statistics about the library. Epic. A list of all 45 states, including Delaware, Wyoming, and West Virginia. I wonder when they'll be annexed next. Maybe it'll be the Blindary territory? Blindary? I don't know. Peep closely in a statue until you find one that you're pretty sure is a guy covered in flowers. Hey buddy, what are you doing? Look, I'm 95% sure you're a real person, not a statue. What are you up to? I'm a statue, go away. Okay, now I'm 99% sure. Go away. What's your name? Paul, go away. Hi Paul, I'm McNutter. What are you doing? Pretending to be a statue so the ghost won't get me. Go away or you'll blow my cover. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Objection, huh? What are you objecting to? Your face. Overruled. What's the problem anyway? A lot of legal stuff you won't understand. Oh yeah, try me. Fine, what's the maximum legal caliber civilian handgun? 8? 100? 800? Try again when you actually know a thing about gun law, or anything. Nuts, I was close. Take that, irresponsible whelp. And cabinet. Yeah, it's big footnotes. Yeah, I don't even read that. Pry the biggest and most visible chunks of wax out of your ear. Epic. What's this? Looks like a normal bathtub, but the faucet's tip is really high and there's a curtain around it. Thick curtain. Guest room. Hello, dear. Welcome to my little B&B. Do you care for a room? No thanks, I won't be staying that long. Hopefully. Wait a minute. Yes? What's B&B stand for? Food and breakfast. Okay, yeah, that's what I was expecting. Well, why do you say you're B&B? This isn't your house. Oh, I know, dear, but nobody was using these guest rooms. And there was ghosts hovering around with nowhere to be. And I got to feeling homesick for a little B&B I used to run when I was alive. So I thought Miss Gunn probably wouldn't mind. I see, fair enough. What happened to your eye? Oh, it was such a foolish accident. I had a guest I was suspicious of, a nervous, twitchy little man. I thought he might be mixed up in something bad. And one evening when I was passing by his room, I gave in to temptation and peeped on him through the keyhole. You see anything? Well, only for a moment. He was cleaning a small pistol, and I supposed I must have made a noise because he suddenly jumped and the gun went off. And into you? That's right, straight to the keyhole. That's how I died, in fact. Geez, I'm sorry. Thank you, dear, but it's all right. Serves me right for spying on a guest. Is how I look at it. Is that what's keeping you here? Guilt? No, I think I paid quite sufficiently for that transgression. What then? Well, I don't want to go into heaven missing an eye. It wouldn't be as nice without that perception. So you need a new eye? Yes, do you think you could help me? I'll keep an eye on... I'll see what I'll buy. Doors barred. Therefore you were so from entering. The ghostly clerk runs and hovers over to you. No, no, dear. I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. Why not? What's in there? A customer. He hasn't paid his bill. So I was forced to lock him in there until he does. I know it seems mean, but one has to take firm hand with these things. How much does he owe you? 1,000 meat. How's he supposed to get you the meat to pay you if you won't let him out? That's a fair question, dear. But that's on him, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'll use some dickering. Take 500? Well, they're supposed better than nothing I've got from him. And it seems perfectly content to staying locked in there, so alright. She unbars the doors and carries the bar away. Go to the room. Thinking, yeah. I was about to say, I thought you could get some out of that. Nice. Yeah, I have all my abilities. One of the museum employees is sitting here reading a magazine, as you can see. Congratulating him on his newfound freedom. Congratulations, I freed you. You're free. Huh? Free from what? Well, being locked in this room and nothing to do except read that magazine. Ah, so you freed me from having an excellent excuse for not doing my crappy job. Well, you freed me from being burdened of relaxation, and here, instead of emptying trash cans and cleaning toilets. Great. Look, you're a real hero. I could just lock the door again. No, it's too late now. I'm free. Free as the wind blows. Free as my job blows. Thank you. You're welcome. Lock. Wait for the clerk to look the other way. Quietly pick the lock. There's a nice landscape painting on the wall. Painting the countryside is nice. There's nothing interesting about it. Looks like the sort of thing you'd find hanging over the bed in a mid-price hotel room or a bread and breakfast. Come to think of it, I guess it's a little weird hanging over a stepladder instead of the bed. Maybe the last occupant really short of far ground. I'm not even trying to pronounce. I know what word it is, but I'm getting tongue-tied. Close look. Happy little trees. Oh hey, according to the signature, the original Dares Cleave. You never heard of them? You know, now that you're looking at it closely, it seems like the painting's sticking off the wall a little bit more than you would expect. Take it off the wall. Well, you do know, there's another painting underneath it. It's a painting of a safe. This house must be really old if it's got jokes of this vintage. Huh. Painting of a safe on the wall, examine it. It's a fairly realistic painting, but, well, safe. It's captured Sieni past un corpore fort. It's on a wall. Take the safe painting off the wall, behind it, of course, a wall safe. Examine it. You inspect a large wall safe, securely locked. See cracking? Safe swings open. It's empty, apart from being rolled up poster of Rita Hayworth. Swell. Search anyway. Determined not to have gone through all this nonsense for nothing, you carefully search the empty safe. Eventually there's a click and the back of the safe swings open, revealing a secret passageway. Guess that explains the stepladder. Finally. Soon kid. Sue it is. Yeah, good one. How bad do you think, Sue? The homonomous nature of Sue and so certainly is ripe for puns, yes. That's so. Yes, very good. Very funny. Listen, are you gonna loot this container or what? Why so serious? Well, you're kind of driving this joke into the ground, and it's getting really tiresome. Not really tiresome, only so. Just come on. It's totally stopped being funny. Is that so? Yes it is. Are you messing with me? Do you just not want what's in this? I do want it. I want it so bad. Look, my daughter, you're starting to get on my nerves. So what? So what? Is there an item in here that you... There's an item in here that you need for progression. And this is my point. I'm sorely tempted not to give it to you. So don't give it to me then. Oh god, just take it, okay? Take it and get the hell out of the script. Elder Gordon, thank you so much. Please just leave. Mouse candy on the nightstand. Yes, I can. Hello there. Are you here to laugh at me? No, not at all. Why would I do that? Of course you wouldn't. Nobody ever laughs at me. I never made a single person laugh in my entire career. That's a left turn I didn't expect. What was your career? I used to design gags and novelties, but I was terrible at my job. I couldn't come up with a single novel idea. This conversation seems oddly familiar. See, even my very persistence is unoriginal. Yeah, I was about to say, he reminds me of the guy from the Mule, the Rented Mule. You're just being too hard on yourself. My best advantage was fake vomit. It looks like fake vomit, but surprise, it's real. Haha. That's the one that got me fired. How did you die? I was working on a new invention, exploding cigar. Thought it'd be pretty good. You light a cigar, and it's fine for a second, but suddenly it goes off with a big bang, and you jump, surprised, and everyone laughs because you nearly had a heart attack. Funny, right? Sure. I had a snag in development, though. What happened? Well, I figured I'd use gunpowder for the explosive. But can buy... You can buy it already packed into those little brass cartridges, so it seems convenient. You mean bullets? My first test run was a real mess, I can tell you that. I can imagine. So anyway, now I'm a failure and I'm dead. Maybe I can help you out. What do you mean? Well, your initial idea was pretty funny, I guess. It's just your execution was the problem. My execution? What's the problem? Haha, you're laughing right. Maybe you could help me out after all. I'll see if I can figure something out for you. Box of science stuff. Here's some science stuff. Science lab. Alright. That's all of the second floor, or well, the introduction to everything on the second floor. Yeah, I got the button, so I'm gonna go to the third. Music room. There's a bassoon. And you know what they say that makes an ass out of N and... Dueling banjos. Almost all the books are dry rotted, moth eaten, fall apart when you touch. You got it, found a copy of Dueling Banjos, a reasonable info. Grab it. Playing machine music. Play Dueling Banjos. I can't play Dueling Banjos by myself. Do you have enough? I don't have enough arms for it. Sorry, I don't know how to play the bagpipe, and not very well. It's a bagpipe, how do you know? How about you, Alice? No thanks, I'm busy. Doing what? Drinking, while not playing the piano. This ghost is of an orchestra. This is the ghost of an orchestra conductor, unless he's a ghost of someone pretending to be an orchestra conductor. Either way, he's very agitated about something, or he's conducting Flight of the Bumblebee. Sorry to interrupt you, but I can't actually hear the music. What are you conducting? It's the finale of the year 1812, Solemn Overture, by Trovosky. Trovosky, I pronounce that. Sounds Russian. Oh, 1812 Overture. Sure, that would have been my second guess. Is your orchestra like double ghost or something? What? Ah, I see. No, there's no orchestra. I merely have this piece of music invertebrably lodged into my head. It has been nagging at me incessantly ever since my death. Asked him about his death. This is a guess. Did you die during the performance of the 1812 overture? Yes, that is correct. Yes, very astute of you. And the finale of that piece features real cannons, right? Is that how you died? If that was my fate to be slain by a piece of music, cannons would have been a far preferable to my utterly farcical demise. What happened? The overture requires several cannons because it's impossible to load a single cannon quickly enough to fire as the score demands. However, the stage we were performing on could not have bore the weight. What did you do? I was not informed of the difficulty until far too late to make any changes. It transpired that the stage manager decided it would be sufficient to give a box of bullets to the tuba players. You were shot by a tuba? I was shot, as you say, by a tuba. Wow, no wonder you ended up as a ghost. Oh, it isn't the ridiculousness of my death that troubles me. Really, accidents happen. As with any performing artist, my colleague of mine was decapitated by an errant cymbal while performing the Plagan's Violin Concord number 1. Such are the risks we take for art. Gosh! The problem is that the 1812 overture finale is very dramatic and an energetic piece. With the music it's constantly replaying itself in my head, I've been utterly able to find any peace. I'll see if I can think of a way to help. Boom! Monster, why write that? It's a doll mine. How adorable. Just look at all the little miners and mine carts and mine shafts and bowls of minstrom. There's a tiny stick of dynamite stuck in a little borehole. This toy is interactive. Who? Geometry textbook. Lots of science stuff. You're right. Forgot a book under the bed. Title for Fun Law, Rule of 71, Parlor Games, and Social Movements for Children. That stuffed gun. Boom. This little girl ghost is serving imaginary tea to her guests. The doll, while terrifyingly, is largely indifferent. The newsman employee, on the other hand, is playing along with a rickus grin on its face. The little girl wearing an annoyed, disappointed frown. Hello there, my name's McNutter. Can I join your tea party? If you want, I guess. But it's a terrible tea party. Oh, what's wrong? You aren't having any fun? All I have is dumb made-up tea. I want a proper tea party like Mama took me to. Tell me more about the party. Went to a real tea room. It was so pretty. There was vases and flowers in them. Everyone was all dressed up in suits and pretty dresses. And there was white china teacups for the tea. Real tea, not imaginary. Well, that sounds very nice. It was. I was so nice. You mean it was so nice? I feel like that's an error. And everyone's so polite and charming and elegant. Well, until the fighting started. Oh no, there was fight? Well, two gentlemen got into an argument. I don't know what it was about, but I guess one said something about the other one didn't like. And he was so insulted he threw his tea right at the man's face. And then they took out guns and started shooting at each other. Right there in the tea room. Whoa. Yeah, they're still really elegant though. They had little silver and ivory pistols, and they kept their pinkies out the whole time. Anyway, I don't remember the rest very well, except for one of them missed and the other shot me by mistake. I'm so sorry. Thanks, but it's alright. Heaven's supposed to be really nice, so I guess I don't mind so much. But I didn't finish my tea party, so I want to have another one before I go. Except I don't have any tea, and make-believe tea isn't any fun anymore. Okay, I'll see if I can find some actual tea for you. This guy has a smile frozen on his face. Eyes darts around the room and in panic pretends to sip tea. One eye twitches and he tries to whisper out of the corner of his mouth. A drop of sweat rolls down his brow as he stares at the little ghost, who doesn't seem to have noticed. Still not getting it. Can you speak up? Its hands are shaking. If you were holding an actual teacup, probably would have shattered by now. He hisses at you through his clenched teeth. Sorry, but I can't understand you. Bye. I can't remember. Did I give her the science stuff? Okay, I did. Oh no, that's not Florence. That's fucking Alice. I'm only a little drunk. The creepy room. Composition of this page is bad in every way. Tabor is comprehensively and enthusiastically disemboweled. Oh hey. Stuffing would be perfect for making a silenter. Sorry, Teddy, but this is for the greater good. A wad of stuffing. Looks like this is where the creepy music is coming from. Nice. Spooky lullaby sheet. I don't know what to do with this. It still gives me an option to try to play dueling banjos. That's a glitch. For some reason, my fucking model was not there. And go. Well, that was nice. This conductor stick is no more as well. Oh yeah, that is that employee. Let me talk to everyone else on the floor because I know what happens when you talk to that employee. Also, did I give you the science stuff? I can't remember. I didn't. Here you go. Medical gas. I don't remember having that many abilities. Store's locked. No earthly force can open it. Well, maybe a whole team of horses, but good luck getting them up the elevator. Knock knock. Yes, who is it? Who's Gunn? I'm McNutter Walker. Are you with the ghost extermination people? Yes, ma'am. Florence Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Services. McNutter is my assistant. I'm your what? Who's the county licensed ghost hunter here? Me or you? Okay, fine. I guess. Have you been able to exterminate all the ghosts? I still feel haunted. 12 of them are left according to the scanner. We're still working on it, ma'am. Don't worry. You can count on us. Alright. Please let me know when you've finished. Will do, ma'am. Oh, my neighbor's mowing. I'll mute my audio for a sec. Okay, there we go. I think they went to the other side of the yard. I think. Yeah, you can get stuff from fighting this haunted bowling alley. The Boldrigeist, as the game puts it. Yeah, some of this stuff's actually pretty good. I know, I think the bowling, yeah, that's really good for strength builds. What's my weapon again? It's gotta be 7. 17 armor's not bad. I'll use it. Why not? Hold on, label 10 Moxie. Alright. The guy doesn't notice you approach until you're right next to him. He yelps in surprise and drops his glass to the floor, then squints unsteadily at you. He takes a maraschino cherry from the bowl, the bar, and the counter, and the cart, and throws it at your head. Hey, stop that! Haha, sorry. Just making sure you're not one of them ghosts. He drops another cherry in a fresh glass and pours a lot of whiskey on top of it. Like one of the museum employees? Mm-hmm. Yep, that's me. What are you doing here? Hiding, buddy. I don't know if you didn't notice, but this house has got a ghost in it. You don't say. Whole bunch of them, all over. So I don't know about you, but I'm staying right here where it's nice and drunk. I mean, safe. But wouldn't you rather get out of here? Nah, all the booze, booze, I'm really scared of. The ghosts go boo, you know. They'll get me if I leave this room. There aren't any ghosts between this room and the exit. So you said. That's what you said. But they're ghosts. They could be anywhere. Except in here. Exactly. I ain't leaving without guaranteed those ghosts won't grab me on the way out. We could disguise you. Shower curtain. Look here. Here, look. We'll use this white shower curtain to disguise you as ghosts, and they won't bother you on the way out. That's a mighty fine idea, but he tosses back his drink and pours another. But eye holes. That curtain's got no eye holes. You got no holes for my eyes. I won't be able to see. I'm starting to think you don't actually want to leave. No! What gives you that idea? It's terrible in here. See some holes in the curtain. You narrow your eyes in them and blast some holes in the curtain with your pistol. Okay, jeez. I get the picture. He grabs an armload of bottles from his carts and pulls the shower curtain over his head, and then staggers out the door. Wow, you hope you never meet a live duck this big. I wish I could fight ducks in this game. I want a boss fight with the duck. It's sickening, killing a helpless Sopla and stuffing its carcass as a grisly trophy. One of the moose's eyes is loose. Pop it out. Pop! Now it's really got an eye on you. This is just a head of teddy bear. They didn't even remove the tag. These antlers are made out of paper mache. Apparently somebody who had never seen antlers before. Whole rack of bowling trophies. If there were billet trophies, it'd be a lot easier fun to make. There's a goblin head mounted like a trophy in the wall. This would be positively Bob Barrett if for the fact goblin seems pretty okay with it. Boo! Ha ha ha. Pretty good I am getting you, huh, human? Wow, yes. Very much to getting me. Nice. What is happening to you? Did Mr. Gunn hunting you and cutting off head? No, Mr. Gunn, good human man, is being very friends. Inside of one ball bags, my spore to growing. Only headroom. Mr. Gunn finding me and hanging me up here for chatting with great guy. Wow, weird. You can tell it's fake because it isn't floating around the room and setting stuff on fire. Just a photograph of a fish. Mr. Gunn was apparently really liberal with his definition of trophy. This ghost is dressed up in a traditional safari hunter with a pit helmet and a big white mustache, and those weird kahat trousers that make you look like the butt of wings. He's inspecting Mr. Gunn's trophy collection, but doesn't seem particularly impressed. Hi, McNutter Walker. Oh, charmed. I'm sure Lord Euston Camdelton? I think that's to pronounce that. At your service. What happened to you, if you don't mind me asking? Not at all. Though, it isn't a very exciting story, eh, what? I was hunting lions and playing spaghetti, and one of the blighters had gotten the better of me. Wow, you eating by lion? Sounds pretty exciting to me. Yes, well, not eating as such. Sneaking butter crept into the camp and put a stack of ammunition crates over on me. Oh. Maybe I can help you. Help me do what? Well, help you with whatever's keeping you a ghost. Though now that I'm saying it, I guess there isn't much I can do about helping you get revenge on that lion. Oh, no. It isn't revenge that's keeping me here. Good for that lion, I say. Turnabout is fair play and all that, eh, what? Though I do wish you'd done it in a manner that's made for a better story. So why are you a ghost then? It's because one of my true regrets is I never faced the most dangerous game. I'm definitely not going to help you on people. What? No. The most dangerous board game. Nope, nobody was ever willing to play against me. A bally shame, eh, what? What's the game? He leans over a small table which laid out a board, playing on red and black squares, a little wooden disc painted red and black as well. Checkers? The checkers jump and scatter. The ghost stabs 2 large hunting knives into the center of the board. Knife checkers! What are the rules? Do you know how to play checkers? Yes. Do you know how to stab someone in the hand with a knife? Yes. That's all you need to know, really. Alright, I'll play. You yank one of the knives out from the board, Lord Euston instructs you to hold it in the left hand. Rules are, you may only attack your opponent's hand, and only when over the board. Displaced checkers are played where they land attacking board directly with a foul, which awards the opponent with a stab-free turn. It appears that primarily the game is concentrated quick movements and feinting. Play aggressively. You start the game by attacking quickly and fiercely, and establish dominance to keep your opponent from developing his pieces. This strategy is somewhat effective, but Lord Euston doesn't scare easily. He managed to feint a few pieces past your guard. You enter the mid-game more or less evenly matched. Play intelligently. The mid-game, you focus more on checkers than you do your knife work, maneuvering into position in some big gains in the long term. You suffer a few minor nicks and cuts, but are well positioned in the end game. Play craftily. Lord Euston spots a hole in your defense. He feints left and quickly slides your piece into the gap and into your trap. This move in his hand into just the position you need to attack with your hard downward stab. He easily yanks his hand out of the way, and your knife hits one of your pieces on its edge, flipping across the board, landing neatly back on his back rank. King me. I say, it's a foul to attack the board. Sure, but I wasn't, was I? I attacked your hand and you dodged, that's all. You sneaky blighter. Play continues, but the king behind Lord Euston's lines cleans up fairly quick. All right, lad. I concede. Marvelous play, eh, what? Well done. He gives you a smart salute and fades away into nothingness. Alright, those. Platoon. Grab one. There's a platoon here. Bright, shiny blue full platoon. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Oh boy, oh yeah, come to Papa. What are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Looking at someone who's kneeling next to his platoon with apparent intention of sticking his whole entire face inside it. Dive in. You jam your hand to the spoon up to your shoulder and find nothing. The brass bucket is shiny and clean, outside and in, clean as the day it was born. The museum staff must have washed it. It looks brand new. Are you crying? No, I'm fine. You're crying. Okay, well, I'll just be over here whenever you're done lying on the ground in a fetal position and hugging a spittoon. Fine. Alright. Hey there, how's it going? I ain't interested in chit-chat, fella. Just billets. Step up or shut up. Down to a game. Polite cue, the ghost nods and racks the balls. He utterly trounces you. You just can't seem to get the balls where you intended. That was the saddest showing I've ever seen. Let me see that cue. Yeah, that's your problem. This thing's about as straight as a banker's handshake. What? You're gonna need a lathe this thing back. You're gonna need to lace this thing back if you want a chance against me. Lathe? Alright. So now I can start wrapping some stuff up now that I've basically got all the ghosts introduced. Let's go first floor. Or actually, I could just do this. Yeah, let me go through the maze and get it out of the way. It's an informative plaque about the raid in the hedge maze. The Gun Manor hedge maze was erected in 1888 for the entertainment of our guests and family. Then two daughters, who are welcome to viewing your paths, though we recommend caution during the winter. Below that is pasted a handwritten note. Actually recommend staying out altogether because some crazy wizard moved in and has been animating the shrubs. Danger. Weird. Local weed. I got some tea. Meat. I need hedge clippers. I can't remember where to get it. Oh wait, no. I think I remember where to get hedge clippers at. Actually, let me do this first. Ooh. Yeah. I got the tea. The tea is within my possession. I didn't mean to go here. I can buy this for shits and giggles. What the shot glass does, if I remember, is whenever I drink alcohol, I think gives me XP now. Yeah, XP gain when you drink booze. Yeah. Oh, I meant to talk to that one chick. That's fine. I can go inside here. Hedge clippers. What's up, mate? Guy slouching around here smoking a cigarette. Hiya. Hey, sup? Do you work here? You parking attendant or something? Yeah, I guess. I validate people's parking and that. Can you? I'm on break. Oh. Well, really everyone's on break, kinda. What do you mean? A whole bunch of ghosts showed up in ghost carriages all of a sudden. Everyone's either hiding out or kidnapped. I got I got here in a ghost carriage. Oh man, did I die somewhere and not notice? Am I a ghost? Guy jabs her forehead with one finger. Ow! Nope. Means him to go back to work. Okay, well you can probably go back to work now. Yeah, why is that? Because I'm gonna rescue all the other employees. If they come back and catch you slacking off, they'd be ticked. Oh jeez. Okay, fine. Let me finish this smoke before getting all heroic. Alright? Boom. Lathe. Yeah. Hell yeah. Can't remember what he does. Oh, again. Hey, it's you. Hey, they let you smoke in here? Let's just say they haven't successfully stopped me. Why sneak off in the carriage house to smoke if you just do it here while working? Well, I'll give you a hint. I don't like work. About my parking? Didn't you say you came here in a ghost carriage? That's right. Those don't actually take up space, so it doesn't count as parked. Oh, never mind then. Oh, yeah, let me go talk to the one chick that, I neglected to talk to. Because I forgot. Oh, she was musically right. Yeah. One doesn't seem to be interested in anything other than cranking the hurdy-gurdy. Disconnect the crank. You definitely disconnect the crank from the hurdy-gurdy without alerting the woman's attentions. But it turns out you hadn't needed to bother. She continues to turn the crank, blank-eyed with nothing attached. You grab the end of the crank, pull her very slowly to the gift shop, where you find a pictorial to plug her into. Now it's time for head mage. Now that I got my clippers. Not this way. This way. Can't remember if there's anything over here. Step through. Oh, it's the same look. I'm so dumb. I'm not worried about making a wish. Look at crazy thing, jeez. Dive in. Get overkill. That's a decent amount of XP. Is that all of us here? Damn, what a ripoff. I need to go out. Alright, yeah, I can't remember the path for this. I have to wait. You get a hint after you clear the maze. I mean, not the maze, but the hedge. You'll see what I'm talking about. This weird bush seems to be full of pinto and kidney beans. You didn't think those grew on bushes, and you especially didn't think they both grew on the same bush. Might be decent in chili. Yeah, head wizard. Let me, These things are the more aggressive than most foliage you've encountered. Except for the holly bush you fell into when you were 3. God, I haven't seen a holly bush in forever. Nice. Phew, thanks. You'd think a gal could sit and eat her lunch in a weird hedge maze without getting accosted by monsters. But what is the world going to? You said it. Is it safe to go? I should get back to work. What do you do here? I work in the visitor centers. I run the token smashing scene. We sell these little brass tokens stamped with the museum logo, and you can enter them using you can either use them in the wishing well, or run them through the machine tools that flat our stamps and the museum logo onto them. That's my job. Stamps and museum logo onto them again? Yeah, but they're longer after that. Huh. So do you think it's safe to leave? Yeah, it should be fine. Lady leaves. Get it? Leave. Supposed to be the hedge wizard. Give him a trimming. Well, consider the following. Eat shit. You've only succeeded in kicking the head wizard's ass down the road a ways. It was still pretty satisfying. Well, at least you didn't run very far. Not far enough by far. Get fucked. You ain't shit, kid. Okay, at this point, he's got nowhere left to run to. Well, assuming the weird portal thing behind him is exit only. Stance on him. Dead. You got an item. The Head Wizard's Journal. Head Wizard's orb. Magic fuse leaves. That might actually be good for me. Let me check. 10 physicality, 10 armor. That's offhand. That's my offhand. Spell damage. My spell damage, I think, would be better off if I didn't use that. Somebody scrawled, private, do not read, HW, in the spine of the journal. It's full of terrible poetry. Here's an example. Everlasting chivalry, nobly leafed crown, whence comes all joy, sweet thy fragrance, wondrous their strength. Namaste, my lord. Epic. Yeah, that's the hint I was looking for. As we just see, stash. In treasure chest of goblin manufacturer. Hedging your bets. Here's a book to learn all about the things that financial responsibility and decorative horticulture have in common. After reading the book, you resolve to make some budget cuts. You mistake the book for budget and cut it into pieces instead. Yeah, you come back here and you can just farm HW for Head Wizard. Alright. Now what does that poem say? East, north, west, south, west, north. East, north, west, south, west, north. Epic. Edward's orb starts vibrating as you get close to this weird human-shaped bush. The hedge straightens up and speaks. Not you again. Wait, you're not him. Phew. Nope, I'm another. Nice to meet you. I'm the hedge. The hedge? Yeah, the hedge. Source of all the magic in the maze. Yada yada. Boy, I can't tell you how glad I am to see somebody besides that dorky wizard. Did you? Yep. I took care of him. Thank you. I made the mistake of granting him a boon, and he started treating me like a god or something. Coming around day after day, prostrating himself before me like a huge dweeb. Just awful. I mean, sure, I'm powerful and all that, but it's not like I did anything to get this way. I mean, I'm rooted in the ground. For heaven's sakes, I just grew this way. Anyway, you mentioned a boon? Oh, sure. I guess I owe you that much for getting rid of that clown. Here you go. The hedge bends towards you and touches you with one of the bra. Boon of the hedge. Thanks. Don't mention. Now, I should get back to my business here. You can see yourself out, right? Yep, bye. You should leave him alone. You wouldn't want him to think you're some kind of dweeb. Yeah, let me, is that a perk? That's the boon of the owl. Boon of the hedge. Hell yeah. And now that chick's back at the token smash, I want to go make a token with her. Because there is a token for each of, like, the class types. And there's a one I want to see, because I've never made this one before. Oh hey, thanks again for rescuing me from the hedge mage. Hello. Either I never asked what you do here, or I've already forgotten. I run a token smashing machine. If I buy you one cooperative tokens over there at the machine, I can put the machine in. I can put it in the machine here and roll it out flat. Well, flatter, and stomp it with our logo. One side on one side, and a funny picture on the other. Can I interest you in one? Sure. Magical rifle. Great. It has little sparkles around it. Now you know it's magic. It probably also shoots beams, but that's not in the picture. That isn't in the picture. She takes your token, puts it in the machine, happily cranks it. A long grinding noise, and your token drops to a slot somewhere along the center. Thanks. Want to smash another one? Maybe a different design this time? No thanks. That's all I need. 10 missed calorie, 10, 17 spell damage. So that's offhand. Did I have? Oh hell yeah. Yeah, that's just better. A right decision. Yeah, I believe I should be able to finish this DLC by this stream. I think. I need to head to the library. Wait, no. Yeah, I need to head to the library. Because I can't do stuff on the first floor until I've done stuff on the second floor. Also known as looking up a definition. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't do this while I was here. Yeah, Ouch. Hell yeah. See? You told that ghost in the kitchen that there were 2 meanings. I can't continue her thing yet. First floor. This will open up a whole new realm of possibilities. You game think you'd teach my granny to poach eggs? By dongo. You don't poach eggs by shooting them. I approve. What in tarnation? Poach. A method of preparing food, especially eggs, by simmering them in boiling liquid. Well, I'll be a darn gum. He dissipates the ether, still muttering to himself. Right. No placard on the stone says chili stove. How very specific. You need a bowl of chili to give that ghost an iron room. Stove seems relevant to that need. Fortunately, since your conversation with him, you're not even sure you know what chili is anymore. Maybe you should do some research. Oh yeah, I got I also have to probably look up chili. This food on the shelf is all decorative. Not this. Nice. Oh weird. What you thought was a framed photograph is actually a window. Why does a larder have a window? And why is a ghost standing motionless in front of it as your framed photograph? Excuse me, hello. The ghost ignores you. Grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Please cease this activity at once. I'm sorry, I got a little carried away. Now I have your attention. How about you tell me who you are? Ah, you don't recognize me. Jean Francisco Lardest. Nope. Zut. I knew simply mimicking the photograph would not be sufficient. Without it, how would anyone know I'm the most famous Frenchman ever to visit the Gun Manor? That's my attempt at a French accent. Take it as you will. Have a lot of Frenchmen visited? Besides having the distinction of being the most famous Frenchman to visit Gun Manor, I'm also the first Frenchman to visit Gun Manor, and the last as well. Gosh, how'd you die? I was posing for the photograph to commemorate my visit here, and the fool of a photographer fouled up when he prepared the gunpowder flash. Fouled up how? He left a bullet in it. Ah, I see. I must have the photograph. Such a face as mine must not languish in obscurity. Alright, I'll let you know if I find it. Stainless steel bean pan. Alright. Pantry. Larder and a pantry? Space of pantries. Room with a bunch of pants. This ghost is running around like crazy. Hovering around like crazy. Searching the racks of pants or trousers if you prefer, but we say pants here in the Western Territories. He seems too preoccupied to take any notice in you. Anticipate his moments and cut him off. You suddenly in front of the ghost, and he turns the corner. Hi. Wow, jeez, buddy. You nearly scared me out of death. The death out of me, the other room. Sorry, I was just wondering what you were doing. Well, I thought it'd be obvious. I'm looking for a pair of pants. But you don't have any legs. Yes, I know. So, what do you want pants for? Nostalgia? I see. What kind of pants are you looking for? The kind without legs. Legless pants? Well, I can't wear regular pants, you know. Legs would just flop all around and be dumb. I guess you have a point. How do you lose your legs anyway? Oh, jeez. It's really embarrassing. I don't mind. Well, see, I didn't have a proper holster for my gun, so I just carried it tucked in my belt. Ah, the trigger snagged when you went to draw it, huh? Right. It gets worse, though. I was wearing one of those gun belts with the slots all around to stick bullets in, you know? Oh, man. Yeah, chain reaction blew off my entire lower half of me. Wow, that's how you died. Yes, that's how I died. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for some legless pants for you. Thanks, I really appreciate it. And as we've already seen the legless pants, or well, made aware of where they're located. Actually, do I have to? Yeah, I have to go to the second floor. No, it's the third floor. Fuck. Oh, I have to go to the library anyway. Look up, not gallery. Look up Chile. Oh yeah, I forgot to turn those books in. A savory soup made from beans, spices, and gun. And a gun. Huh. Can you help me with some library stuff? Could you be more specific? I found a book you might want back. Ah, thank you. Put it back on the shelf if you would. The number on the spine will lead you to its proper location. Okay. Book called Fun Law and Doom Banjos. They go on different shelves, so you can can't do both of them at once. Fun Law. Found a shelf where Fun Law belongs, put it back. Next book on the shelf entitled Gun Law, which might be even more entertaining. Just give it a shot. You find the shelf where Dueling Banjos belongs, put it back. The previous book on the shelf entitled Duel Law, which seems to be about legal issues surrounding dueling. Never know when they might come in handy. Good. You learn basically everything you know about gun law. Now you can even prosecute attorney and defense counseling in addition to judge, jury, and executioner. After that you put the book back on the shelf. Time to dispense some justice. Learn all about the law pertaining to dueling, not perpetrating. It turns out, when two guys want to murder each other in a fair and reasonable manner, things get legally tricky. Then you put the book back on the shelf. Alright. Now this is like the longest ghost quest. Objection. Yeah, you're my face, all that. Yeah, I read that. What's the problem anyway? Lots of legal stuff you never understand. In fact, I think you'll find that I'm quite conversed in the finer points of our justice system, particularly as it pertains to guns and gun-related activity. Horseradish. You're all trousers and no briefs. Oh yeah? Well, try me, smart lady. Fine. Obviously, you aren't going to leave me alone, so just ask your questions. Ahem. I'm Ignata Walking, speaking for the record. State your name, occupation, and cause of death. Felicity Wainwright, defense attorney, lost a court-approved trial by combat. What? Trial by combat has been outlawed for like 15 years. You do understand that ghosts don't visually age as time passes, right? Oh, right. So your client called for a trial by combat, which means which meant you and the prosecutor had to face off in a duel. That's correct. And you lost? She squints at you. Are you acting gum to try to throw me off guard? I withdraw the question. Why are you stuck as a ghost? Because, although the trial by combat was already well out of fashion at the time, it was still a valid legal recourse. I should have been prepared for the possibility, but I wasn't. My lack of training resulted in an innocent man being executed for murder. Oof. How was he executed? Hanging, I assume? Obviously, I wasn't around to see it. So to release you, I need to prove that the loss wasn't your fault. The trial duel was completely fair and above the board. There is no chance there of having foul play of the prosecutor's part. My loss was my own. Then I would have to prove the client was actually guilty. Therefore, your feelings of responsibility are misplaced. Look she gives you is hard and cold. Look, you think you know a thing or two about law. How about you tell me the first rule of dealing defense attorney? Don't refer to his gavel as a little hammer. You have to trust and believe in your client. If you don't believe your client is innocent, you'll never convince anyone else that he is either. So if I want to convince your client if I want to convince that he was guilty, you'll have to fight an uphill fight, fella. You're essentially playing prosecutor here. All right, tell me about the case. My defense was Matthew Guilty McCree, accused of murder of Victor Vic Timsbury at noon, June 18th of 1879, not 9, in Reno, not Rio. I have some questions. Go ahead. Client was actually named Guilty? Come on. Names do not mean anything. I once had a client named Aldeguy? I think Aldeguy. And he was totally innocent. For someone's actual legal name, sure, but nicknames are usually given for some sort of bias. So you never met a really tall guy called Tiny, or a fat guy called Slim? Arguably, nicknamed Guilty would reinforce my client's innocence. That's totally absurd, but I'll rest for now. Let me ask something else. Go ahead. What was the cause of death? Timsbury was shot through the heart with a .45 caliber revolver. And did McCready own such a gun? Yes, he was holding it at the time. The subsequent examination showed that he'd been recently fired. Are you messing with me? Any further questions? Yes, I do have more questions, yeah. Good. This was noon precisely? Yes. Confirmed witnesses also McCready owned a fancy pocket watch, the times and the hours. There was witnesses? About half a dozen of them. I'm pretty sure there's something you aren't telling me. I'm not obligated to play my hand face up, Mr. Prosecutor. Okay then. Hang on. Shot with a pistol in front of witnesses exactly noon. Was this a duel? So you can add 2 plus 2 after all. Well done. Well, as luck would have it, I just recently read a whole book about duel law. What? Why? No reason. I just happened across in the library and thought might be interesting. You read an entire code of law you found at random just for the heck of it? Yep. Let me do a quick review of the duel and legal provided. It's been exactly 2 people at a specific prearranged time and place, using the same, or at least essentially similar weapons. And they have to be either face each other down quick draw at a point of moment, or do a 10-pace turn and fire routine. Is that it? Yeah, that's the gist of it. So, let's get started with you telling me the facts in the case. And I'll interrupt you rudely if I have any questions. Alright, but if you push me on a trivial nonsense, I'll get mad and you'll have to start over. That seems fair, go ahead. McCready Timsbury got into an argument in a saloon. On the evening of June 17th, apparently Timsbury accused McCready of cheating at poker. Go on. The bartender yelled at them and to take it outside. Since it was dark, they agreed to meet the duel the next day. That would have been the 18th, you said. Yep, June 18th, 1878. Go on. Well, the next day, both showed up shortly before noon and squared off about 30 feet from each other. When noon struck, McCready fired fast enough that Tinsbury didn't even get his shot off, on account of having his shed shot off. Pretty much long and short of it. Got some more details on that. Go ahead. What weapons were they using? McCready had a .45 caliber single-action army revolver, and Tinsbury had an older model, a .36 caliber cap and ball navy revolver, which he loaded with paper cartridges instead of packing his gunpowder by hand. Let me ask you something else. Fired exactly noon? Yes, as soon as the church bell started ringing. Yes, that's what I just said. You got a point to make, or are you just stalling for time, I think? I have another question. Go ahead. You said there was witnesses? About half a dozen of them, watching across from the street. My stream, is that just on my end, or is my stream buffering? Okay, no, I think it's all good now. About half a dozen watched across the street, peeking through the half-open shutters. Were they interviewed? Yes. Their stories lined up with what I just told you. Were there any known associates of McCready? Not that I'm aware of there being any actual friends with McCready, but he was a local and a lot of people knew him. She used a suspicious look. Wait a minute. Where are you going with this? Oh, never mind. I have another question. Yeah. So McCready fired as soon as the church bells struck noon. Yes, that's what I just said. You have a point to make, or are you just stalling for time, I think? Objection. Oh, what the heck? McCready fired at the wrong time. What are you talking about? He fired exactly at noon. With the church bells, there was witness. That's right. He fired at clock noon, but the duel was set for high noon. They aren't the same thing. High noon is just when the sun is at its highest point in the sky. Depending on the geography and the time of the year, the hours can differ from clock noon. Here, fired early. It makes the duel illegal. So what do you say to that, counselor? Plus gives you a slow smile. Gotta hand it to you, Prosecutor Walker. You're a lot better at this than I was giving you credit for. That's a good thought you had there. There's just one problem with that. Oh, what's that? I already thought of that. Take that. She hurls a small book at you, which you barely managed to catch. 1878, Pneumatical Almanac. God, what the heck is this? I did my homework when I was preparing for the trial. My legal homework, since I was at the time I was expecting an actual trial, not a gunfight. What you're holding there is a pneumatical almanac for the year 1878. There are bookmarks if you'd like to do the math, if you'd like to do the math yourself. But if you look up the solar noon, aka high noon, for the June 18th, make adjustments to Reno's longitude. What do you think he did? You have to be kidding me. That's right, Mr. Proctor. 12 o'clock p.m. precisely. No. Well, damn. Nice try, though. I mean it sincerely. It's all my ammo. Can't think of any other way to disprove McCready's innocent. As far as I could see, it was a fair duel. Yes, and that's me with the guilt of an innocent man's death on my hand. An innocent man's death. You sure good at repeating things people say. What if he didn't die? Say what now? Well, you didn't actually see the execution, right? Yes, well, I was indisposed, you might say, being dead and all. So you don't actually know whether it happened. Oh, come on, look. I appreciate the effort, but you're barking at the moon. Let me ask you something. Alright, go ahead. What can you tell me about McCready? He's a gunfighter through and through, and was met by the Ardeline addict. Dueling needed choice. Told evidence, cheated poker, spent time. At least be surprised he was a sly one. Expression softens in size. I make him sound like a real devil, but that's not fair. He was so smart and charming. He could have been a good man if he'd chosen an entirely different life for himself. Anything else? Well, I recall a really good head for numbers. He told me that he never forgot a date, and every man he'd ever killed, he'd remember to pour a beer on the grave on their birthday. Well, that's nice. A nicer birthday present would have been having not killed them in the first place, of course. Yep. I have another question. The trial right after the duel, the 19th. No. I don't know what Reno's like now, but it didn't have a proper courthouse then. You can't try a murder charge in the sheriff's front parlor. He sat in jail for a couple weeks and then transported him to Frisco. That was one thing that, with one thing to the other, the trial didn't start until July 25th. Geez, so much for a right to speedy trial. The wheels grind slow. I have another question. Go ahead. When was the execution? Well, we held the trial by combat on the 26th, so Friday. They don't execute prisoners on the weekend, so presumably it would have been the following Monday on the 29th. In the morning? What's with setting up the gallows? What with setting up the gallows and crowd gather? Usually happen in the afternoon, around 3 typically. Another question? Why did they invoke trial by combat? Assuming he was innocent, why would McCready invoke trial by combat? His case is pretty straightforward. A duel only worsened his odds. I was mighty surprised, let me tell you. The only thing I could figure out is it was a damn fool's sense of gunfighter's pride, or something. Like that was the only form of justice he was willing to submit himself to. Another question. Yeah, back and want to do some research. Then game just freeze. Okay, there we go. That was a long delay. Let's go somewhere else. Alright, whew. Put a date in it. So it's July 29th, I believe, was. That was when McCready was going to be executed. Let's see. Wow, wait a minute. According to this, there was a total eclipse for the sun that day, centered right over the Western Territories with a totality at 2:47 p.m. That's a hell of a thing. I looked at July 29th on your almanac. What? Now you're messing. Oh, yeah, and get this. There was a total eclipse of the sun that day. What? Now you're just messing with me. No, look for yourself. Tally at 2:47 p.m. Right over the Western Territories. Well, that's quite a thing, but I don't see how that affects. Wait, unless you're suggesting. Right, it was the perfect opportunity for McCready to escape. That's absurd. Absurd like a fox. You said for yourself McCready was really good at remembering dates. He could have read about the eclipse any time and stored that knowledge away for the future, like to give himself advantage in a duel or something. Alright, that's reasonable as far as it goes, but McCready couldn't have worked out the eclipse into an escape plan because he didn't have any say over the court schedule. You said, with one thing or another, the trial didn't start until July 25th. McCready could have caused any number of those delays himself, by faking illness in prison, messing with the horses on the ride to Frisco, or anything. This could also explain the trial by combat. You mean that there ended up being too much delay, so if the regular trial went on for too long, and he was found guilty, he would have missed the eclipse. Exactly. Whereas, if he called for a trial by combat, everything would be resolved one way or another. Within only one more day. Maybe you'd win, and that'd be fine. But if you lost, he could use his escape plan. I have to admit, this is pretty compelling. But all maybes and what ifs. Yeah, maybe it happened, and maybe McCready was rescued by leprechauns. Oh man, there's leprechauns in Frisco? You need some kind of hard evidence before any of this can be, before more than just a funny story is what I mean. Well, let me ask you something. How can I find evidence of Creed's escape? Well, we don't know if an escape even happened, true. Something that would be in the news for certain. Yeah, let's see what I can find. Ooh. Yeah, so now, go to the library, and there's newspapers there. It's a cool quest, but boy is it a long and tedious one. You find a few bundles of old newspapers at the bottom of the shelf. The Frisco's newsletter. You start at the bottom and stack and flip through until you find the paper for the week of July 28th through August 3rd, 1878. The main feature has to do with the eclipse and various accidents and spectacles occurred because most people weren't expecting it. The editor apologized for bearing the announcement of the previous week's weather forecast. Most notably, all three of the men scheduled to be hanged on the 29th escaped in the confusion, and only two of them were recaptured. Unfortunately, their names aren't given. You don't find anything else of relevance to the case. However, you're putting the papers back on the shelf and headlines. More recent issue, catch your eyes. Husband of famous inventor missing. The articles is light on information, but apparently Miss Gunn's husband, Dan, vanished on the road while traveling to Dirtwater on business about 6 years ago. Law enforcement suspect bandits, but no evidence was found. Kinda grim. Found a newspaper article. The guys scheduled to be executed the day Eclipse escaped, and one of them was never caught. Which one? Well, didn't say, did it? Nope, damn it. The executed criminals aren't given gravestones with their names on, so you can't just go look around Frisco Cemetery to find out. Listen, Nutter, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, but at this point you'd have to actually find McCready himself to prove he wasn't executed due to my failure. Well, I guess I'll have to do that then. Guess I'll have to do that. What up? Oh yeah, I got the tea. Let me go give the little girl the tea. Hey, no, not him. Hello again. Sir, did you find some real tea? I sure did. Here you go. That's wonderful. Thank you. She serves the tea to the four of you. Okay, well, not the doll. Sips it with her pinkies extended of the gentle fashion. Then, with a giggle and a wave, she fades away. Rest in peace, kiddo. Oh, thank God. I thought it would never be over. Look at me, I'm shaking like a leaf. Kind of a freaky situation, right? Having to deal with little kids freaks me out bad enough. Having to interact with the ghost one is horrifying. Anyways, thanks for the rescue. I need to get back to work. What do you do here? I run the candy counter at the visitor center. else I could do up here? Oh yeah, I straightened my pool queue. Hey there, how's it going? Yep. Pull your cue out and the ghost nods and racks balls. Proceeds to crush you. Something feels wrong, like it isn't connecting with the ball properly. The ghost shakes his head at you. You're totally new at this, ain't you? You ain't got chalk with your cue. Chalk? Can I borrow yours? Mine's ghost chalk, wouldn't work. Dang it. I don't need to borrow his. I can get my own. I want a stupid ghost chalk. Blue chalk. Back, you son of a bitch. Chalk up your cue and the ghost racks the balls. It's a close match, but yet you have to console the geometry for a few times to work out all the angles. The game comes down to fight for the 8 ball. You manage to barely squeak out when the ghost catches an unlucky bounce off the corner of the pocket. Well, shucks. Nice shooting, Dex. He flips you a finger gun salute, winks, and fades into nothingness. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Well, I'm not 11 feet tall. 5 ball. That's weird. I got a 6 ball when I was on my off-stream character. I believe I did. What are they even used for? I can't remember. Set your enemy on fire for 25 extra damage. Start every fight on fire. I don't know about that. Don't know about that one, Hoss. Alright. I can save the guy in the kitchen now. Oh well, oh no, I didn't find his pictures. But alright. Keep together, McDutter. Spices. You rifle through your belongings and don't find anything. You have to go spice hunting. Good spices. I forgot to get that. You shake a heap of chili spices into the pot. Next step is beans. Beans are your specialty. Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't even have to find those. The mixture spice beans are bubbling nearly. Now final ingredient, a gun. No gun. You restrain yourself from adding gun. Step back and admire your handiwork. It's not according to the Halo chili, because it doesn't have a gun in it, but the chili with no gun in it, which is the thing you were after. Chili seemed pistolas. Oh shit! I forgot to get the fucking skirt. That's why we went to the kid room in the first place, not the gift for tea. Next room. Alright. Oh, yeah. Wait, no. This way first. Yeah, these were the photos from earlier. Photo of Lardast. So you have returned. Have you recovered the photograph I require? I found an old photo that actually looks like you here. Ah, marvelous. What a resemblance. Yeah, it's a pretty decent pic. Good thing light travels faster than bullets. Now my imagery would not be lost in the ravages of time. Make you be cruel, my friend. Be cruel. How to pronounce that? I don't speak French. He's the photo in the window and dissipates into nothingness. Auf Wiedersehen. Wrong language, McDaughter, but that's fitting, seeing as it's coming from me. I still can't find any legless pants. Have you come across any? How about this skirt? Look, I understand genderization of clothing. Maybe it shouldn't be a thing, but I'm not that kind. I'm kind of old-fashioned. Or did I say skirt? I meant kilt. What's a kilt? It's a special kind of foreign legless pants for men. You try it on. Rose tries on kilt. Hey, that's really nice. Thanks a lot. With his pants problem solved, he dissipates into the ether. Alright. We always pretend to cram face with visible food. It's weird that what people do for the sake of politeness. I'm back, and I've got a bowl of 100% gun-free chili right here. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Earl. Is something wrong? Well, see, I can only eat gross food. Oh, do you need me to murder this chili for you? Not to put a fine point on it, but yes. Alright, I'll find a humane way of doing that. That's weird. On my off-stream character, I had a third option, but I don't on this character. Which I didn't do that option because on the third option it says basically stomp it on the ground and some shit. And I'm like, oh, I might he might not like that if I do that, so I didn't. So it took me forever to find this dumb shit. There's no hint to it. So I had to go through every room until I found this. The sofa with some nice throw pillows on it. Smother the chili with a pillow. You sigh and do what has to be done. You got an item. Chili sin pistolas muerto. No, not kidding. Yeah, this quest and the gun law quest took me the longest out of all of them. Okay, I euthanized your chili. Here you go. You hand the ghostly bowl of chili, and he immediately gobbles it up. With a long, finally satisfied sigh, he dissipates. Thank you so much for dealing with that ghost. I'm exhausted. What are you even doing? You kept demanding ghost food, but I don't really know how to cook. Except nachos and popcorn. And just the regular kind, not ghost nachos and popcorn. But he was really insistent, so I figured ghost food is probably just invisible, right? So I pretended to give him empty plates. I guess it worked, even though it doesn't really make any sense. Huh. Anyway, thanks again. I work at the snack bar in the visitor centers, so I'll see you around there. Okay, see you later. Yeah, this. Yeah, let me have confirmation. Oh, yeah, no, I already got the confirmation. Yeah, let me talk to Florence. According to Minstrels, there's 5 ghosts left. On the left on the first floor, 4 left on the second, and 1 on the third. Alright. 4 on the second. I can't even think of all the ones that are left. Oh no, I know. There's one I can remember. There's 2 that I can remember on top of my head. Silenter. Big Silenter. Good night, Silenter. Alright. Take a blow. Yeah, there was librarian. Hey, look, I invented this.
Shh! How many times do I have to tell you? I invented this thing that makes guns really quiet. Oh, how marvelous. Finally I can rest in peace, knowing that libraries will be safe from the noise of gunfire. It's only an atmosphere of quiet and true joy dare live. Verdant Russell. Ardent Russell.
And with that, she dissipates into nothing. He isn't famous yet. Oh, whatever. Oh, yeah, the guest room. I think I have everything I need for these 2. I forgot about them. Hello again, dear. Were you able to find me, New Eye? Yes, kind of. How kind. Thank you very much. She takes the glass eye from you and puts it, whereupon it falls through her onto the floor. She touches it. As she picks it up. Oh dear, it's a little too physical. Yeah, I wasn't certain that it would work. Don't worry, it's easily fixed. Do you have a hammer I can borrow? A hammer? Yes. That'll do nicely, thank you. She takes the hammer, places the glass on her desk, and smashes with a precise crack. Ah, perfect. He gives you back the hammer and plucks the ghost of the glass eye from the shattered fragments after blowing off the dust that she tucks in her eye socket. That fits much better. Thor? Well, now that you mention it, no. You can't actually see with it. It is a ghost of a glass eye after all. Oh dear, this won't do at all. What a shame. You know, I don't really understand why your eye is still missing. What do you mean? Well, I always assumed when someone loses an arm or something, it just sticks around as an armed ghost. That's why people can still feel itching sometimes, because you've got an arm there, but it's a ghost. It's even called phantom limb syndrome. So logically, the rest of you becomes a ghost after that. It would hook right back up. But then, where did my eye go? Maybe it got pushed back inside your head? The ghost thinks about it for a second, and she shakes her head. No, that seems weight. What? I do think I feel something just then. She shakes her head again. My goodness gracious. Keep going. Keep going. It's like one of those puzzles where you're trying to get the marble in the hole. She bends her head forward and continues shaking. You can almost hear a faint rattle sound, and then plop. She straightened back up, blinking with 2 eyes. You did it. Well, I'll be. Thank you so much, dear. I would have never thought of that. No problem. Have a nice time in heaven or wherever. The ghost gives you a friendly wave and fades out of sight. That's that then. And lastly, my guy, well, second to last. Did you figure out a way to make a good exploding cigar? One that doesn't turned fun into a funeral. I can't even make basic wordplay funny. Well, it's kind of clever, but... Oh no, I didn't mean to ask that. I don't care about your other novelties, to be honest. He just kind of goes on for like a while. Wait, didn't I... Oh, no. Now I remember. Because I was stumped on this for a little while, too. Where art thou? Examine it. Wait a second. What if I stuck this into one of those cigars you found? What if you... Yeah, what if that? Wait a second. You stuck this in one of the cigars you found. You poke a hole in the tip of the cigar and insert the dynamite. Exploding cigar. Hilarious! I think this is what you were looking for. That's an exploding cigar? Yep. Sometimes the cigar is just a cigar, but not this time. What did you use for the explosive? I found a really small firecracker, just big enough to blow up the cigar without blowing up someone's face. Also without, violent lead projectile. You're a genius. Please, let me see it in action so I can finally rest. Light it up. There you go. Look like you're fucking coomed. Ghost coomed. Alright. Now this is the one that I didn't think would be like this. The last Ghost Quest. Yeah. So the answer to the DLC is outside the DLC. And I didn't think for the longest time that they would do that. This took me like off stream, back like when I did the off stream playthrough of like this game, like I don't know, a year ago. It took me a long time. I think it was like an hour, probably longer than that. So you just come back and just ask around. Hey boy. You're here, a fellow named McGreedy. McGreedy? Nope, don't ring a bell. Well, it would have been around 17 years ago. Heck, I got a long memory, but not one that long. I only started working here 6 or 7 years ago, anyhow. What about the guest register? Only keep those for the last couple of years. Only place I know might have a record far back as that would be the post office. Other things. Right. Trying to find a guy named McGreedy? Is there any possibility he might have passed through here about 17 years ago? Passed through? We don't stamp passports here. Yeah, If he stayed for a while, I might have a forwarding address. Oh, can you check, please? Alright. Them books could use some dusting off anyway. One sec. She pulls out a big ledger out of her desk and blows a huge cloud of dust in the air. And then starts leafing through them. 17 years, around 70, 80, then 76, 77, 78. Martin, Babelston, McAfee, McCready. Got Matt McCready. That the one? That's him. No forward address, but you could ask at his old place, just out northwest of here. Let me see your map. Oh yeah, looks like you've already got it. Desert House. That's the one. Let's go. Yeah, this was like where the Black Hat game was, or something, whatever they were called. I need to go buy a shovel. As you can see, I was farming graves. M. McCready, 1846 to 1887, stuck to his guns, took up the grave. You dig into your shovel, hits a wooden coffin, and haul the lid open. The skeleton blinks at you. Well, it doesn't. But anyway, howdy. Howdy? Are you guilty, McCready? Well, now, I ain't heard that nickname in... What year is it? 1895? 17 years ago. No, I ain't tell a lie. There was one time, 8 years ago, the same McCready that escaped the gallows during an eclipse. Huh. Well, now, since the statute of limitations is expired, I might as well fess up. Yep, that was me. Real sweet plan, too. Apart from that one little hitch. Went off smooth as silk. Even worked in a little misdirection and led the law to the other two fellers. Instead of me. Serves them right, too. They were real murderers. Not like me. Never killed a man except for in a fair fight. Except for that one little hitch you mentioned. You miscalculated how long to delay the trial. So in order to miss the eclipse, you call for trial by combat. Oh, well, yep, that's the truth. You're blaming me for Miss Wainwright's death, I suppose. Why didn't you trust her? She would have gotten you declared innocent. She had a real good head on her shoulders, sure, but so did that prosecutor fella. I didn't rate the odds better than 50-50. Not good enough. Anyways, the trial by combat was part of her job. She should have been ready. That stinks. She trusted you. She's a ghost now because she feels guilty about losing the trial. I've spent ages trying to convince her you were innocent, and she was trying to convince her you were innocent. She backed you every step of the way, despite the fact you got her killed, and you don't even care. Hell, you bite your tongue, Sonny. You don't know me. Don't you dare. I did what I felt I had to do to stay alive, and I felt damn guilty about what happened to Miss Wainwright. But I ain't taking all that blame for it. No, sir. She'll tell you herself she should have been better prepared. Just like she told me that day, antagonizing all her last breath. I gave up gunfighting for her. Gave up the only thing I lived for. And that's how I felt about it. You gave up gunfighting? Wasn't easy, but I did. Bought this house, bought this land, raised some chickens, and had a little vegetable garden. Place gone to hell since I died. That's a shame. Anyway, I never fired my pistol again, not even in a damn fence post. That's not what it says on your grave. Oh, read it again. That fella that killed me had a little ironic joke, I reckon. Someone killed you? You're only the second person to track me down. First one was 9 years after the trial. Vic Timsbury's brother, hunting for revenge. What happened? He challenged me to a duel. I told him I ain't done no more. I ain't dueling no more. And he asked again, and I said no. And he hollered at me, and I took out my pistol out of my closet, threw it at his feet, and so he could see how the cylinders were all rusted shut. And he cocked his gun and asked me one last time. I said no. And last thing I remember is bang. Jeez. Got him to bury me though. Guess you weren't all bad. Do you want to see Felicity again? I can take you to her. Ghost. Nah, I reckon I'll just go back to sleep. Ain't right a dead fella walking around. Just tell her sorry for me, alright? Here, you can give her my pocket watch. She'll recognize it. Alright, goodbye, McCready. So long, feller. You close the coffin and fill the hole back up. Or bin. Yo, it is a long and tedious quest, but it's a good one. But that doesn't give you a hint to go back to the main game, I think, or like a good enough one in my opinion. Alright, Felicity Rainwright greets you with a gloomy nod. Got a question for you. What's up? You ready for this? What now? I found McCready's grave. He wasn't executed. You're 100% certain it was him, not some other man named McCready. It was him. Here, he gave me this. He gave me his watch to give to you. She turns the watch around in her hands for a while, just looking at it without saying anything. And she slowly winds it and listens to the chimes on the hour. Yes, this is his watch, all right. Thank you. Wait, you said he gave it to you? He's alive? Not exactly. He's a skeleton. We talked for a while, and he asked me to bury him again, so he could go back to sleep. What did he say? He confirms our guesses. He knew about the clips in advance and stalled the trial for his escape plan, but stalled it too long and decided his hedge his bets by calling the trial by combat. I see. He gave up gunfighting. He what? He bought a little house and raised chickens. Never fired his pistol again. In fact, he left it to rust. 9 years later, Timsbury's brother caught up to him and challenged him to a revenge match. McCready refused repeatedly, so the guy shot him. He said to tell you he was sorry. She looked at you silently for a moment, and then looks at the watch. She winds up the hand back a minute to listen to the chime again. She sighs and shakes her head and then smiles at you. Thank you, McNutter. You'd make a fine damn attorney. She shakes her hand and fades in view. She does, leaving her attorney's badge in her hand. Attorney's badge. Epic. Hold on a sec. Hey Paul, how's it going?
Shh. Is the ghost still there?
No, I took care of her. Oh, thank God. I have to go to wash this flower off and get back to work. But first, Steers starts frantically extracting every part of his body. Man, it feels like I've been saving up these itches for days. I was about to go crazy. Thanks, McNutter. You're a lifesaver. No problemo. Come see me in the visitor center. I'll hook you up with a souvenir photograph. Paul wanders off, still scratching. See you. Alright. What does it do? 17 spell damage. And that's not bad. But let me check out the visitor center and see what everybody does. And what they can offer me. Thanks for your help again. What an ordeal. No problem. How's the itching? More or less better. I mean, hygiene is what it is in this day and age, you know. You nod. You'd like a souvenir photograph? Only 200 each. So I'll take one. Okay then, smile. Wait a second. This is a photograph of the house. Yep, an official gunman souvenir photo. Let's take a picture of me then. Oh, just for our record. Okay. Walk away. There's an old frame photograph of Miss Gunn on the wall, and a little explanatory plaque underneath it. Close look. The photograph of a young Miss Gunn smiling as she accepts a fancy trophy from a man in a suit. A frowning man wearing a lab coat is standing behind her. Plaque reads, Terry Gunn and Assistant, except in the 1869. Why didn't we think of that award? For excellence in inventing from the National Academy of Profitable Sciences. Epic. Third floor. That's everything, right? Anything about to say about this, Alice? Nothing. I'm doing good. Knock knock. Yes? It's McNutter and Florence, ma'am. The ghost hunters. Florence and McNutter. Whatever. I do feel significantly less haunted. Did you get rid of all the ghosts? We sure did, ma'am. Actually, my scanner says there's still one. Shh. Yes, ma'am, all the ghosts are accounted for. Well, that's splendid. Come right on in. Ghosty goo. Hello, Miss Gunn? Hello, McNutter, was it? Thank you so much for getting rid of all these ghosts for me. Yeah, about that. Turns out there's one left. Oh dear. Well, I'll need you to take care of it before I can pay you. Miss Gunn, I've got some bad news for you. Oh, what's that? It's you. You're a ghost man. Well, I'll be. When did that happen, I wonder? My condolences. Why, thank you. You're very kind, you know. It does explain some things. Like what? Well, I haven't had an appetite for months. Nearly a year, in fact. They keep sending food up in the kitchen, from the kitchen and the dumbwaiter, but I've just been dropping out the window and sending epic plates back so the chef won't have her feelings hurt. There's also the fact that you're, well, translucent. Yes, I thought that was just the cataracts. Miss Gunn, this prompts a question, you know. Oh, what's that? Why are you a ghost? Well, I'm sure I don't know. If you're an expert, perhaps you could tell me. Actually, that's me. I'm the expert. You know of some kind of unfinished business? Something that's tying you to the place? Well, now that you mention it, yes, I suppose I do. You mind telling me about it? My entire family disappeared a few years ago. My husband and 3 daughters. Oh geez, I saw their rooms, but I didn't know they were actually missing. I guess I assumed they were just out of town or something. The sheriff suspected they'd been kidnapped for ransom. But no one ever made any demands. They just vanished. I never found out what happened. I always thought they were taken away by ghosts. Why did you think that? I felt guilty about how many people had been killed by my invention. Belt buckle? The gun? Oh, right. I used to worry that the ghosts would come back and haunt me. When I built this house, I had an electrical anti-ghost field installed in the walls of this room, so they couldn't get in. No, wait, awesome! Wait, doesn't that affect you? Well, I'm sure it would, if I attempted to walk through the wall, but it never occurred to me to try. Ah. After Dan and the girls disappeared, I became sure the ghosts had gotten them. Then I locked myself away in here. After donating the rest of the house to this historical society, so there was someone to look after the place. Now I feel rather silly about the whole thing. Silly, I mean, ghosts do exist, obviously. Well, yes, but now that I'm a ghost myself, I can sense the presence of other ghosts. And they only just arrived in this house yesterday, or the day before. That's when I called for exterminator, you know. I didn't even question how I knew they were here. But I don't think there have been any ghosts here before then. Why'd they all show up yesterday? I couldn't say. They all seemed very angry and confused, but since they couldn't get in here, they gave up and started wandering around the house. They gave up quite easily, actually. Maybe because you were already a ghost yourself? Well, Miss Gunn, what am I going to do with you? What do you mean? You did contact me for 13 ghosts, ma'am. You're the 13th. Oh, yes, obviously. You'd simply renegotiate the number with you. Perhaps you'd go ahead and exorcise me, or whatever you do. I'd rather find a more peaceful solution. A peaceful solution? What do you mean? Well, we can also release you from your ghostitude by solving the problem that's keeping you here. In your case, I guess it means finding out what happened to your family. Oh well, I would be very grateful if you could. I assume they're dead, and to be honest, I've gotten used to that fact, but I'm sure would like to know what actually happened. Alright, I'll see what I can do. So, hell yeah. So Miss Gunn was a ghost all along, eh? Yeah, you think you'd do anything for her? Do you mean cure her? Oh yeah, sure. Just got some anti-death pills right in my bag. Oh no, she won't be able to swallow them because she's a ghost. Oh no. Never mind, they're just placebo anyway. Sign says, break in case of attic. Break attic opening stick. In case of attic. Hey, who the heck are you? I'm Igniter Walker, but since I'm not the guy who's apparently hiding out in Mrs. Gunn Attics, I feel like you ought to be the one answering that question. Who am I? Well, I'm just freaking typical. I'm Chet Bullet, damn it. Am I supposed to have heard that name before? Yes, you damn well should've. Mrs. Gunn invention would have been nothing without mine. Wait, let me guess. You invented the bullet? Phew, I thought you were gonna say belt buckle again. Oh shoot, now I want to change my guess. You damn right I invented the bullet, but I was her assistant, so I didn't get any credit. Hell no. Sounds like we've got an axe to grind. Not for much longer, heh heh. Aw jeez. Yeah, looks like we found the bad guy. Okay, Chet, go ahead and tell us the details of your whole nefarious plan. I don't care much for your tone. Why should I tell you anything? Well, I could just set you on fire with my mind, but I prefer words to incoherent screaming. Well, it's too late for you to stop me anyway, so I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tell you. Certainly not as much as telling me would. When Miss Gunn dies, control of the company and pass to me. I'm no murderer, mind you, but I like to keep my hands clean. I figured there might be some other people who have a bone to pick with her, considering their manner of death. You summon all those ghosts? That's right. All it took was some basic seance equipment, wired up to the house belfry for amplification, and snap. Mechanical genius like me. But seance gear summons ghosts related to the summoner. That's the whole point of the medium. A person who knows direct summoning on someone else's behalf, so you get to talk to your own grandma instead of the summoners. You don't seem like a medium type to me. More like a small. But that doesn't explain something I've been wondering about. Oh? It didn't make sense for all the ghosts that have been haunting this gun, because some of those weren't killed by guns. They were killed by bullets. Naturally, I anticipated there'd be a couple of those. That's why I rigged the room with an anti-ghost field, which I cleverly boosted so the ghosts couldn't even sense me up here. So your plan was to summon a bunch of angry ghosts so they would initially be looking for you, but would haunt Miss Gunn instead when they couldn't find you. Correct. And once they haunted her to death, gun industries would be all mine. Well, I hate to be the bearer of good news, but Miss Gunn is dead. Oh, on the bright side, she's been dead for a year, so you pretty much wasted your time. What? Wait, really? Haha, I'm rich. Now I just need to get out of here with all those without all those ghosts spotting me. Yeah, the ghosts are gone too, so you're pretty much in the clear. Wonderful. Anti-ghost field is pretty effective, but it was starting to make the back part of my brain itch. Flips the switch of the electrical device, and suddenly becomes aware that abstinent, extremely low frequency humming on the edge of your hearing. There's something else I wanted to ask about. Ask away. What happened to Mrs. Gunn's family? Oh, them? They've been out of the picture for years. I heard a rumor Dan got killed by desperados and buried in a shallow grave on the backside of nowhere. But of course, I wouldn't actually know anything about that. Lucky for me, since since I couldn't have inherited the company with him around, or their daughters. You son of a... Relax, the girls are fine, I'm not a monster. Pretty sure you're a monster. There's a weird little island kingdom somewhere on the other side of the ocean. Apparently, it's stuck in some kind of bizarre temporal field that keeps near anyone from entering or leaving. Can't even find the place unless you know how. Fortunately, I know a guy who knows how. I gave the girls 3 free tickets to sleepaway camp. Wasn't that nice of me? You're an absolute bastard. All that hurts my feelings. Fortunately, I got a whole lot of money to console myself with. Why you? Hold on. We should talk to Miss Gunn first before we tear this ass a new hole. Huh? I thought you said she was dead. Depending on what she says, you might be too. Epic. I'm gonna lose my shit if I one-shot him. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not gonna pick that ending. I forgot there's another ending. Hi, Miss Gunn. Hello again. Have you managed to find anything out? Yeah, I have good news and bad news. Go on, I'm ready. Chet Bullet had your husband killed and your daughter's kidnapped, so he could be the sole inheritor of your company when you died. He also is the reason all the ghosts are here. That son of a... I should have suspected something when I suddenly started being so ingrained back then. And when he wrote off desperados on his expense account, I'd write him out of my will if I was... But I suppose it's too late. That's rather galling. What's the good news? He says that your daughters are safe. They're just on a magical island somewhere nobody can get to. That's not exactly comforting, but at this point I'll take it. Plainly, if he wanted to kill them, he would have just done so. Wait, you spoke to him personally? Yeah. He didn't know you were already dead, so he's been hiding in your attic for the last couple of days, waiting for the ghost to kill you. What do you want me to do with him? I'll leave it up to you. I'm not in a state of mind to make any reasoned judgment. In any case, you've answered my question. I can feel myself moving on already. Thank you for all the help. For all your help. With a sad wave, Miss Gunn fades from view, and then almost as an afterthought, the lock on her desk drawer pops open, and Sign finds a check written out to the Cunningham Ghost Annihilation Service, which Flo snags with a cha-ching and a blueprint, Mrs. Gunn's blueprint. So, if it'll load. Okay, there we go. Yep, this blueprint represents what would have been the crowning achievement of Mrs. Gunn's career if she hadn't died before actually getting into production. So let me go make that real quick. For shits along with giggles. So there is a purpose to the workbench down here. Other than just making the worst gun ever. It's making this blueprint. Hell yeah. You follow the directions on Mrs. Gunn's blueprint and construct her final gift to the world. I think it's better than mine. Yeah. It's mine and then some, with better damage too. This is the best gun Mrs. Gunn never got the chance to make. You vowed to commit so much violence in her name. Oh yeah, and I guess there's another cool thing you can do, but I can't remember if there's any features for it. Maybe there is in the main game. Yeah, you can silence it. Yeah, now it's silenced. Epic. Time to finish this DLC and get the best ending. The thing I didn't do in the main campaign. Well, I guess I got the best, like, morally best camp ending, but I didn't get the coolest one. Yeah, and there's some side stuff. What does this give her? No, not going down. Science jump. Hell yeah. Beta blast. Well, you're gonna get wrecked. So it's a 3 letter combination, as you can see. And throughout the entire campaign, I've been getting booed. You can see where this is going. Boo. An eerie sound from the bells fade away. Ethereal outlines begin to appear around you and resolve, one at a time, into familiar spirits. Monsieur Bardest, and then the lady who was running the boo and breakfast, and the librarian. You know, you really didn't get very many of their names. Maybe you should have been better at introducing yourself to people. Anyway, you're soon around a small crowd of ghosts, and this gun being the last to arrive. This is the bell tower in my house, McNutter. What happened? Yeah, nice to see you again, but what's up, counselor? I suppose you're all wondering why I've summoned you here today. I did just ask you that, yes. I've come into some information that I think you all might be interested in. This won't take long, will it? I need to get back to the afterlife. Let's hurry. I got an all-you-can-eat buffet with every kind of meat in nugget form. Oh my gosh! You unholster your pistol and slowly put it against your temple. Can't get there that way, you dummy. Rats. You put the gun away. Anyway, let me explain. Felicity, how do you feel? Did you feel when you got here? Originally, I mean. Well, I remember being very angry. I wanted revenge for my death, but the feeling went away pretty quickly. I couldn't remember why I felt like that way. I'm not a vengeful type. It doesn't really make sense in your case. Yes, exactly. I've never bore any ill towards the prosecutor that shot me. Was it basically the same for the rest of you? Yes. Just like that, yes. Myself as well. Me too. Thought so. Well, here's the deal. You were all summoned for the explicit purpose of taking revenge on Miss Gunn here. And Sensi? I did not killed by the gun. I wasn't either. Yeah, some of you weren't the summoning. The summoning happened based on your connection to the summoner himself, Chet Bullet, the inventor of the bullet. But he was hiding within an anti-ghost technology that assumed that enough of your deaths would be gun-related, that he would turn your attention to Miss Gunn instead. Well, that's just a dirty pool. And I should know, considering I got shot for playing dirty pool. The thing is, he didn't know that Miss Gunn was already a ghost, so nobody to take revenge on. You all just reverted to your regular state of mind. Huh? Well, I appreciate the info, but is it really necessary to call us all back just to tell us that? What I really wanted to tell you is that Chet Bullet has turned off the anti-ghost field He's over there, just in the end of the attic. Now, I'm not gonna make any noise about his ultimate responsibility for all your deaths, because that would both be crazy and also belittle the actual circumstance of your death. But Jet Bullet murdered Miss Gunn's husband, kidnapped her daughters, and attempted to use you all to kill Miss Gunn herself. So, if you all are interested in a little frontier justice, 13's a pretty good number for a posse. The ghosts all turn to look at each other, and their eyes begin to glow red. The hunter is the first to leave this circle, closely followed by the poacher, and soon they all have left except for Felicity, Rainlight, and Miss Gunn. Miss Gunn looks hesitant for a moment, but then makes up her mind. She gives you a stern nod and follows the other. You turn away, and you soon hear a man screaming, but the sound quickly decreases in volume, as though he was being pulled into a great distance away, and then is soon gone entirely. I figured you wouldn't be into it, Felicity. Yeah, despite everything, I still believe in the rule of law. Didn't see you trying to stop them, though. Nope. No, you certainly didn't. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Happy trails, counselor. You too, counselor. She fades away with a wink. All's well that ends well. Well, that's it. You reckon that your careful reckoning of the situation has brought some true reckoning to Gun Manor. Congratulations on getting the best ending. Feel free to wander around the grounds and enjoy the scenery. Maybe wrap up some loose ends. But otherwise, you're pretty much done here. Thanks for playing Reckoning at Gun Manor. There's just a weird black scorch mark on the floor where Chet was standing. Floor, don't go on her. Talk to her. How's tricks, Flo? What's in your mind? Wow, I've never seen ghosts do that to anyone. I ain't even real sure what they did. Maybe you should start trying this diplomacy thing, eh? Or maybe I should just shoot them even faster. Jeez, Florence, come on. Nah, I'm just joking. You've done a real good job here. It's been an eye-opener. Glad to hear. Always nice to see bad guys get their just desserts. Yeah, world could use a bit more of that. Alright. So now I'm going to go... I think that this adds something to the ending of the game. I'm going to go... Show me the final cutscene. I'm just going to skip to the one that I don't think I've seen before. The Sapphire... Thanks to you, Gun Manor reopened with delighted tourists for centuries. The visual positivity psych energy created by the ghost you helped leaked into the local water supply. In the decades to come, the business that sprang up near Gun Manor was characterized by the environmentally friendly publicities and charitable giving. Nice. Does it show me like anything else that's springed up near Gun Manor? And it might also tell me something that maybe Felicity. Maybe. Okay, no. Actually, yeah, no. I think it's just the same rest of the stuff. Okay, yeah, I didn't get like the best ending possible for the game overall. But I feel like I only missed like a handful of stuff, like maybe 3 or 5 things. But yeah, this is a Gale time as always. Love me some West Loathing. Yeah. As for tomorrow's stream, let me check. For tomorrow's stream, I don't have one. Yeah, that's my off day for tomorrow. But for the next stream that I will be doing should be on Thursday at 4 p.m. and that should be Digimon World 4 for Throwback Thursday. I'm actually getting towards the ass end of that game too. For my next turn-based Tuesday game, I'll probably ask Roysplin if he wants to do what is it? Divinity 2 Original Sin. But if he doesn't, then I'll probably stream something else. I was thinking about Breath of Fire 3. I was thinking about Breath of Fire 3 as my next turn-based Tuesday game. But we shall see. Yeah. Yeah, this should be all for now. Thanks for any and all who watched, and until next time. Auf Wiedersehen.